The ideas, procedures, and suggestions contained within this podcast are not intended as a substitute for consulting with a medical professional. All matters regarding your health and fitness require medical consultation and supervision. Welcome to the Warrior Wellness Podcast, a podcast for military members, veterans, and first responders focusing on fitness, health, nutrition, and biohacking. Our mission with this podcast is to introduce America's heroes to lifestyle habits and hacks that will help them live healthier, happier lives, and in turn, be fit enough to continue their support of their communities and country.
Well, Kendra, thank you so much for being on the Warrior Wellness Podcast. So Kendra Simpkins is an Army veteran. So first of all, hua, and the president and CEO of Operation Warrior Resolution. So OWR's mission is to transform veterans to health and wellness, to provide innovative holistic treatments for mental health to veterans and their family members, alleviating PTSD, anxiety, and other mental health related issues. And they have some pretty cool retreats and other offerings that we're going to talk about. So thank you so much for being on the podcast, Kendra.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's really awesome to be here with you.
Awesome. So can you give us just a little bit of a, brief background on your Army service and what kind of led you to OWR?
Oh, sure. Well, I think absolutely that it was because of my Army service that led me to OWR. I almost even look at it as now I know why I was called to go into service is because I needed to have that actual personal experience of what that's like in order to create the organization. I went into the military around 2007. So at the height of a lot of things going on. And I was called to go in just because it was something that I always felt I wanted to do. I was in ROTC in high school. I grew up with my World War II grandfather. So I knew it was something that I would always regret if I didn't do. So I actually didn't go in until I was 26. So I was a little bit older. But I knew that I had to do it at that point in my life or I wouldn't do it. And I became a military intelligence analyst. And through that experience, I was stationed mostly in South Korea. I didn't serve my full term, and that was only because I had my own mental health challenges that started to arise through some traumas that happened during the military. And so due to that, I actually had my own challenges of being able to overcome those mental health challenges and even got to the point where I had 2 suicide attempts on active duty. So due to that, they discharged me and out of the military, trying to transition into civilian life and getting the typical VA care, trying to get well through that, which wasn't really happening. And so I thankfully found outside resources through other organizations and nonprofits, more so holistic and mind and body oriented. So I was able to truly find my way to recovery and wellness. And so through that, I began to mentor other female veterans who was going through the same thing that I was when I transitioned. So, and I really, really enjoyed that. And I said, this is something that I want to do for my life. This is how I want to spend my life is doing this. So I went to school to become a clinical social worker, and it's my personal mission to find the most effective and quickest treatments and approaches to truly heal and resolve anything that service members may be dealing with, whether it's due to service or other traumas that happen in life. And that's how the organization got created, is to provide those resources that wouldn't otherwise be available to cause that healing to take place.
Yeah. Yeah, so much there. And bravo to you for being so open about, the challenges that you went through with your own mental health. And, you're very transparent about that. And that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people. So, thank you for your candidness on that. And yes, 2007 was like the peak of the suicide. I remember because I was, working with a contract as a embedded military behavioral health provider. And it was, God, I just remember those 2 years of my life being just the most challenging and the longest hours working, time in my life. It was horrible. And it really felt like the military was just floundering, just throwing anything and everything they could. They're just like, let's just throw money at this thing and see what sticks during that time. And I remember it was chaotic, and it just seemed out of control. And we were just spiraling in this horrible direction. And definitely a reflection of what you went through, of what was going on during that time. And it seems to be, the last couple of years, it's starting to get back too close to those numbers again. So we have a lot of work to do, is the point, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I am wearing my OWR tank top proudly. So shameless plug for OWR, because I am one of their providers for an amazing technique that they provide through OWR, which is a very brief trauma resolution approach. And the cool thing about, so you and I have been licensed for quite a while, right? We're both licensed mental health providers. And we have experienced the old school kind of training, right? The talk therapy, the group therapy in conjunction with the medications. And, there's a whole lot of talking going on, hours and hours and hours of talking. And you and I have probably, both been in therapy as well. So we've experienced both sides of things. And there are now, just effective, already proven, very brief interventions that do what, I'm not discounting like talk therapy. I still do talk therapy with some cases, but this is such a relief to be able to provide a very brief intervention, get those things resolved. And then maybe, the follow-ups would be just kind of, all right, we're done with that. Let's move forward now. And let's get, the things done maybe that you weren't able to because your trauma was holding you back. So I look at it as just kind of like an accelerated, like make up for lost time kind of focus, because you're so free from that trauma now. So that's what I think, what you guys do. But let's talk about what you guys do at OWR. You offer so much. So can you, give us an overview of what you provide?
Introducing the new Fireteam Whiskey Fitness and Nutrition app. Everything you need to get fit and lose weight right at your fingertips. Choose from hundreds of fitness videos and fitness plans. Search for workouts by fitness level, equipment available, or body part focus. Choose from several nutrition plans and customize your macros. Your entire fitness, nutrition, and wellness plan all scheduled on your calendar. Text a trainer anytime for tips, tricks, and motivation. Achieve your fitness and health goals with the Fireteam Whiskey app. Go to www.fireteamwhiskey.com to get 2 weeks of results for free.
Absolutely. Well, you gave us a great head start there with that. And by all means, shamelessly plug Operation Warrior Resolution and what we do, because it is truly transformative the way that it does cause an immediate and quick resolution to things that had been really troubling and haunting. And that was the original reason that Operation Warrior Resolution was created, was to provide this brain-based healing that is a way of interactively rewiring the brain without any use of technology, equipments, machines, anything like that. You're working with a very skilled practitioner to guide you through a technique that does not require people to relive past events. It doesn't require them to talk about it in detail, which is the pretty typical approach to treating trauma, to desensitize them to it. But I really believe that we don't need to cause more pain for somebody who's in a lot of pain, especially when we have these types of brain-based healing approaches. So the brain-based healing approach that we provide is the Cortina method. And because it's within a 2-hour session, we can resolve trauma, because it's an approach that targets the subconscious brain, that emotional part of the brain where troubling thoughts and feelings are coming from. And, talk therapy is very important and useful to have in terms of having that support and validation and being able to continue to make progress in life. But when you're truly dealing with like really heavy traumas and intense emotional challenges, like we have to do something that targets the part of the brain where that comes from, and that's the subconscious, the emotional brain. And so through these approaches, we have the ability to basically recode the way that a memory is stored so that people can access the memory and think about it and talk about it as if they're describing breakfast. It's completely level. So being able to have an approach that quickly does this and allows people to begin to truly treat the source, the root of what's causing it. And then if they are meeting with their regular weekly therapist, that progress can be made much more quicker. And so that's how the organization got started. I just wanted to provide this brain-based healing to as many veterans and their family members, because we do serve those as well, the spouses and children, as possible. And so that's the main thing that we do. Everything revolves around that, because that's where the true transformation impact comes from. And then, as always, when you see a need, we're like, okay, how do we meet that? If this is going to support the veteran better, how do we meet that need? So we created also a retreat program, which is a 5-day retreat. They come and they spend 5 days with us, and we get to introduce them to all kinds of different alternative holistic modalities that's beyond talk therapy and medications. They will get 2 sessions of that brain-based healing, the Cortina method, with an individual practitioner that they get paired with. But also during that, they'll get experience working with horses through equine therapy. We'll wake up each morning and we'll do yoga, meditation, breath work. We focus on iRest yoga to really help create changes on a cellular level so that we can improve sleeping patterns. We also have a protocol to treat chronic pain. So a lot of the service members have injuries that they're dealing with and daily constant high levels of pain. So we take them through a protocol that gets the brain to respond to pain in the body differently and bring all their pain levels down to at least no more than 2. It's usually 0 to 2, which is pretty incredible. And then when that takes place, when they go in for their brain-based healing, the brain can process and integrate trauma much more quicker when the body isn't distracted by so much chronic pain. So it's very intentional in the way the program's built. We also have them meet with a chiropractor, get a medical massage, so that we're really alleviating that nervous system response and pain in the body, because then that treatment for trauma can happen in a quick and effective way. And so that's how we can cause such an impact in such a short amount of time. And then we'll also do fun stuff. We'll introduce them to jujitsu, a martial arts form of really strengthening mental and physical camaraderie. Veterans love that. We'll do sound bowl healing. We'll do Wim Hof breath work, just other techniques and tools that they can be able to use and go home and integrate into their life, because we will continue to work with them for 90 days afterwards. We also teach them about nutrition and how to have anti-inflammatory diet, so they're having less stress on the body. And then they have a health coach that will continue to meet with them, as well as their therapist, to integrate all these new tools that they're gaining and help them work towards their goals so that they're really achieving long-term sustainability, wellness, and thriving in their life, as well as supporting their spouses. So that's a whole nother initiative that we do, is that support. We provide the same type of brain-based healing support, marriage counseling. We have couples retreats that really support the family as a whole, because it doesn't just affect the veteran, it also sometimes, I think, affects the families even more so. So they also need that support and then they're all achieving this journey of healing and wholeness together.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's what I really was attracted to with your organization is, you're not just covering 1 or 2 bases, like you are really covering all the bases, like everything. And it's all, I think, things that people, may have heard of, like equine therapy and, yoga, of course, but, there's things outside of that box that, like the Cortina method, or even nutrition and how it really is related to mental health and wellness and health, and how important that is as well. So you don't even leave that out, which nobody does. I mean, I thought we were the only ones at Fire Team Whiskey focusing on nutrition and mental health, right? And the links between the two, but you do that as well. So You cover all the bases, and, the most amazing part is, this is available, at no cost to veterans and their family members. So, gosh, why not? Like, go to their website right now and sign up for something, like do it, because it's going to be probably something that will help you along your journey, even if you might be in a place where you're like, okay, well, I'm stable, I'm doing okay. Why not get even better than okay, right? Like, you don't have to be completely broken and like, the typical stereotypical thought about, a veteran who's struggling with mental health issues is the homeless person on the street, ranting and raving or asking for money. That doesn't have to be you, that you don't have to wait until it gets that bad, right? You can, at whatever part of your journey of wellness and health you're in, this could definitely launch you to the next step, right?
Are you fire team ready? Try the Fire Team Whiskey Spec Ops Keto Joe Shake. The Keto Joe Shake is a medium chain triglyceride MCT shake derived from non-GMO coconut oil. It contains 17 grams of MCT, 10 grams of high-quality whey protein, and no sugar. It's sweetened with stevia leaf, so you can keep those carbs low and shred that body fat. 25 milligrams of caffeine to give you extra energy for the gym or your busy day. Fire Team Whiskey has been supplying military members deployed all over the world with Spec Ops shakes for over 3 years. Fire Team Whiskey Spec Ops shakes are fueling the fight. Whether you are just trying to lose a few pounds or trying to get that extra edge in the gym, the Fire Team Whiskey Spec Ops shakes are for you. Make sure to stock up now and support our efforts to raise funds for Team RWB, our nonprofit partner that provides social support and fitness events for our nation's heroes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we really like to create a different focus in terms of mental health and what that is, because there's a connotation around mental health, right? Like who wants to admit that that's going on, who wants to meet on a weekly basis with a mental health professional. And that's why I'm so open about my stories, because I want to change that. I want to change the stigma around it and how we're viewing and approaching things. And we don't necessarily need to have that trauma event that we think of that first responders or military or other people go to. Like, there's other things that happen in life on a constant basis. Like, life still happens and causes challenges and struggles to arise. And so we like to call it a tune-up. As you know, in the Cortina method, when we're using that in our brain-based healing, it's like, we need a tune-up. Like, life happens. Like, just because we've resolved what happened in the past, like, we're still having things that come up that our brain needs a tune-up for. Just like we take our car into the shop for a tune-up, our brain needs the same thing. So I think it's beneficial for all of us to do that at any time that we notice that needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what is just so, when I saw the Cortina method, the demonstrations and the videos, when I went through the training, it was like mind blown. And it wasn't that like some of the parts of the approach weren't familiar to me, and that I wasn't already kind of using some of these things, like kind of the neurolinguistics and the trance and the kind of, that kind of stuff. But it just how efficient and short and effective it was, it would just really, that part of it just blew my mind. And now after, doing the sessions with some people, it's like, whoa, like even more so, it's like when I can actually help somebody, get to that place of just like total relief. It's just, it almost seems like magic, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does. It does. But, it's very rooted in neuroscience when we talk about like neurolinguistics. It gets its very name from neuroscience and memory reconsolidation. All of the approaches has these evidence-based researches from neuroscience integrated into it. And like you said, we have the neurolinguistics and the trance, and which is creating a meditative state. We have breath work, we have movement, which we all encourage people to do because it's really great. But the thing that puts this on steroids, if you will, is that we're using all of this while using neuroplasticity to change the way the brain is operating around all of these experiences that have been challenging, so that we're just creating this new and different experience so that there's no longer the same emotions there, or the thoughts don't even stick anymore because they're no longer of value. So it's just pretty cool. I'm so glad that you're a part of it and got trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a great testimonial from a veteran who attended our retreat last week. If you
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just a great insight as to what is this and how does it work. It can seem so confusing because it is pretty different. But one of the veterans shared that, and this was one that came in and she was in such intense physical pain, and that it was emotional due to traumas, and the hurricane that we had here in Florida just a couple of weeks ago inflamed everything. So she was in so much pain that she couldn't even do some of the activities that we had on the first day. And then she went through her Cortina method visits. And then by the end of the retreat, she had zero pain. And she was laughing and telling jokes, and just had this just incredible experience from having gone through her brain, the Cortina method, that yesterday morning, she sent me a message and she said, a lot of the trauma that I dealt with in the Cortina method during the retreat was because of some fatal car accidents that I had to I was sent to. And so that was really bothering me. And then just yesterday, I had 2 cars in front of me. A motorcyclist was hit, and I was able to just get out of my car and go respond to him without zero response. Later on in the day, there was no longer any physiological like tension or shortness of breath or panic or anything that she said she used to have, just from the experiences that she had. So she was put in almost the exact same experience without any kind of physiological responses. She was able to return back to baseline at the end of the day. And
Wow.
she said that she feels like having that experience really lets her know that she's truly healed from the traumas that happened in like early 2000s.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Yeah. And you guys have so many testimonials like on your YouTube channel. I was checking that out, and on your website. So tell people how they can learn more about what you do, or apply to attend some of these retreats or get some of these services.
Absolutely. So the best way to find us and reach out to us is through our website at operationwarriorresolution.org. You can check out all of our programs and services that are available there. Reach out to us directly through the website, and we get back to you right away, whether you're sending an email or a call. So if you are interested in services, please do that. If you'd like to attend a retreat, we have our retreat application right on the retreat page. And the retreat is the start of our tactical healing program, which is 3 months long, where you continue to get support after the retreat. So the retreat application, you'll get that. We'll do the phone screening and get you set up. And then also there's an application for couples retreats there too. So on the retreat, on the couples retreat page. But even if we don't have a retreat right away, so we just finished one and we have a couple couples retreats this month, but then we have our next full retreat in January. But anytime at all, we provide the Cortina method, our specialized brain-based healing that we just talked about in depth. So you don't need to wait at all. You can get in and meet with one of our practitioners immediately. We serve veterans and spouses throughout the whole US, because we do a lot of Zoom sessions so that we can provide that service and reach you anywhere you are.
Yeah. And just to be clear, so those who are listening, you don't have to have been a combat veteran to have this service, right? You don't even have to have had trauma. Let's just say that. Okay. Let's just put that out there. If you're just like, oh no, well, this isn't for me because I haven't had any trauma, you still can do this, right?
Absolutely. Yes. If you've served your country at any point, it doesn't even have to be military related. It could be childhood stuff. It could be current stuff. If you need support now, absolutely. We're here to support.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think of what a lot of veterans do. I know I used to do this as well. Is like, hold myself back or feel like something wasn't for me because, I didn't go to combat, right? Or I didn't have a combat trauma. So it's like, okay, well, this isn't for me. Right. And, I think that a lot of veterans fall into that, that mindset because they feel like, well, this is only for those people, and I think it's just more so, if you have a brain, then
Yeah.
brain-based healing's for you. So, if you got a brain, there you go, you qualify.
You're gonna need a tune-up. Yeah, you're gonna need a tune-up. I mean, why not if you can optimize your brain functioning and just be in a much better space? Like, why not do it? You're gonna be better for you and everything that you're doing and those around you. So even those people around you and your family members are gonna be better for you being better.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kendra, thank you so much for what you do and what you provide to so many veterans and veteran family members out there. It's such a special organization. I'm so proud to be affiliated with it as one of your providers. So those of you who are going to apply for the retreats, maybe I'll see you at one. So you'll definitely see Kendra and maybe you'll run into me there as well. So thanks, Kendra, so much for being on the Warrior Wellness Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate being here and I appreciate you being a part of this mission.
Hey guys, thanks so much again for joining us on another episode of the Warrior Wellness Podcast. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff on your favorite podcast platform and on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and leave us a review while you're there. And if you screenshot your review, email it to info@fireteamwhiskey.com with your name and address. You'll be entered into our drawing for a prize for just leaving us a review. So let us know what we're doing great, what you'd like to hear more about, and please go ahead and just give us a follow and give us a honest review, especially on iTunes, because that helps us reach other military members, veterans, and first responders with this vitally important information about how to improve their health, fitness, and wellness. We will see you at the next episode of the Warrior Wellness Podcast. I am your podcast host, former Army Captain Stephanie Lincoln, founder of Fire Team Whiskey. Fire Team Whiskey is proud to sell Zaya athletic wear. We love the awesome styles, amazing quick dry technology, and best of all, the price. Zaya Active is the official workout wear of Fire Team Whiskey. Go to bit.ly/ZayaFTW and check out all the styles for women, men, and kids.